Hi, everyone. Hello and welcome. Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn, episode 68. Oh my goodness. Okay, just setting up the live on IG really quick. Hello, everyone. Woo, perfect. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here live for Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn, episode 68. So excited to have you all here. We're going to be talking about the great event, the great event, the great event, the great event of your life. Okay. I am so fucking tired of hearing about the Great Conjunction. We're not even going to talk about it. And if you don't know what the Great Conjunction is, you're lucky. If you're interested, go look up the astrology. The great event of your life is what I really want to focus on. We are here in Christmas week. We are here celebrating the solstice. This time of year has been celebrated for millennia, right? There's always, especially those of us who live in the northern or southern hemisphere, far enough away that we really actually have all four seasons. Right now is really the time that our ancestors would be like, what the fuck is going on? And I can, speaking from the northern hemisphere, right? And from the southern hemisphere, this is what you guys go through at the solstice in the summer for you, right? Like the winter for you. So the winter solstice, which is tomorrow here in the northern hemisphere, is really this time of like, is the sun gonna come back? Is like, what about all of our crops? Will we be able to eat next year? How do we know that we're going to survive this winter? Maybe there was a disease that came in and took out a huge chunk and huge population of the tribe, right? Sorry, just trying to adjust. Sorry, Insta, you got moved. So, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start with a little. We're going to light our candle. We're going to set an intention. So, lighting the candle here, setting the intention that we have really clean communication. The Mercury is still trying the sun right now, so the communication will be really clear and clean. And also to connect to our ancestors, connect to those ancient ones who were celebrating this time of year, and to also really dive into why we ourselves need to look at our own personal lives as a great event every day, no matter which role we're playing, whether we're playing the hero or whether we're playing the victim. So really looking at the total of duality, adding a little bit of that chaos energy that I like to spin in there. So setting in that intention of clear communication, that the channels are open for what everyone who watches this video needs to take away. Lighting our incense now from that same flame and creating a sacred space. Creating a little bit of time and space today on your Sunday or whatever day it is that you're watching the replay to really connect into your heart, connect into your body, connect into pulling some of these ideas out of the mental and making them very physical, real aspects of your life. So, okay, so diving into the solstice just a little bit with this idea that we as society, as humans, as we came together as hunters and gatherers and moved as tribes and then created agriculture, with that constant communication of multiples together, that is where we created the idea of morals, right? And the idea of morals that are societally accepted, and the idea of morals that are just the expectations of one on society. So we're coming to this point with, I guess I said I was going to talk about it, but we're talking about it. Tomorrow, Saturn and Jupiter will be on top of each other at 5 degrees Aquarius. And it's being said by many that this is the great conjunction, this is the great awakening, that some big massive event is going to happen tomorrow. And what I have been teaching my clients and my followers is that the event's been happening through your entire ability to wake up and realize that the things that you were taught as a child might not be the truth. And also that the end of the day, none of it matters, okay? No one is a victim to their past story. And honestly, many of us have played the role of hold please, my husband's bringing me my coffee. Will you also turn that light all the way to 5, please? Yeah. Thank you. Can't have Sunday morning coffee with Caryn without coffee. Thanks, Ryan. You're welcome. Your whole life is a great event, okay? Your entire existence. It's not just one thing, right? We're working in linear. We are species that have linear time. We are a species that for the last 26,000 years or so have believed this very patriarchal, very young energy, very gotta fight to get what you want. You have ownership of other people. I mean, let's not even go down so many of the ways that have oppressed others based on their skin color, their sex, their class, all of these things, right? And we're here building a new planet, right? We're building a new society. That's what everyone keeps saying with the great event and the great awakening, that there's just going to be a mass uprising of people who wake up. I don't know about you guys. It's taken me 3 years to wake up, and still I look tired as shit today. I won't lie. I've already been crying my eyes out this morning because there is just so much emotion to be moved through when you are breaking societal constructs, and you have this event that's occurring tomorrow that has been going on since the dawn of civilization, because humans have noticed, especially again those of us who live where there's all of the different seasons, with this knowing that at some point the sun goes way the fuck over here and we don't know if it's coming back or not. So when you're connecting to those energies over the next couple of the days, if you've opened yourself to clear trauma and to clear wounds and to do ancestral healing, you have committed yourself to some really intense things, and you need to know that you are responsible for it. Take authority for your power. You are capable of living happily ever after all the time, even when you're crying your eyes out. You don't think Cinderella or Snow White or any of them had bad days after the prince picked them up? They totally had bad days, ladies and gentlemen. So, the first thing that we need to realize as we are moving into this new age is that you have made a choice, okay? We're going all the way back to choosing to even play the game of the earth. Okay. So many of you believe that you've been here for past lives. So many of you believe that this is, I know that I'm ancient as fuck. This is easily over my 100,000th lifetime here just playing a human. Then you go all into the interstellar societies and everything else, right? We're infinite beings of light here playing this game called life this time around, but we've done it before. We'll do it again. Why is everyone playing so fucking small? Why is everyone so afraid and ashamed of what it is that they've done in their lives? Why are they so freaked out? Well, it's because of this idea of the moral constructs of society that have been built in. We have built in belief systems. You can have someone who looks on the outside like they are a total radical. Maybe they're um, uh, gender fluid, gender non binary. Perhaps they have unconventional hairstyles and clothing. Perhaps they eat unconventionally, they're vegan and they're raw vegan, whatever, right? So they take all this stuff and all the way, and you ask someone like that, why do you act that way? Why do you have this? And someone who's that against society, that obviously not normal, will be able to stand there and give you a laundry list of their values and their morals and how they've built in it, and they don't give a fuck that they look like a freak. They don't give a fuck that what they're saying to you might not make sense. They don't care at all because they are so solid and so tuned into who they are. But at the same time, I see pain in all of them. I see this inner hurt of, but I'm so alone. And the thing is that when you're the leading actor of a role, when you're a leader of anything, you are alone. So can you take responsibility for the fact that if you're going to go against the grain, you're going to feel lonely, and you need to decide if you're just going to feel good anyway. Okay? And I don't mean pushing away your feelings. I mean feel good while you're bawling your eyes out. What is the aesthetic of crying your eyes out, how does that add to you being the leading role of your life? Okay, that's what this whole live stream really is. Now that we got it 9 minutes into it, it is really about being the leading role of your life and making that the great event, making every day the greatest event of your life, because we're in nonlinear time. We're moving through energies right now of our ancestors. They created the social constructs. We're rewriting the social construct. You're going to have days where you sit there and cry for 45 minutes and then do a live stream, if you're really showing up as the super conscious leader that I know that you're meant to be. We all have things that we're ashamed of. Last week on my live stream, the 12/12 event that didn't get posted to Facebook, but it did get posted to my YouTube channel. I'll actually see if I can put up like a replay or something of it. It was really good. It's still really strong and powerful. It was through the end of the year, information coming in. We posed the question, what is the thing that would be the most shameful thing that you can imagine being said in like the New York Times, right? So what story do you have that if it got out into the real world on New York Times, was all over Times Square, was in every single was clickbait for every single person, it hit every single AI, it didn't matter what demographic you were, every single person in the world had access to learning this deep, dark, dirty secret about you? Something that goes totally against the norms of society, something that makes you look like you're totally crazy or completely selfish or narcissistic. What is that thing? What is it? What is that thing? And you don't need to say it in the comments. A bunch of people on the live last week did write it in the comments, and it made them feel really, more empowered to move forward out of it. What is that thing? What is the thing that you want to be able to declare, I did this, and it doesn't matter to me what you think of me because of it, because I am the leading lady, I am the leading man of my life, and what I'm doing is against the norms. I know it. I know who I am. I'm a fractal of God. I know who I am. I'm a fractal of God. I know what I am. I am God in form manifesting. And I know how I serve. I sing my own song. I sing my own song. I go against to my own frequency. I am tuned into my own frequency. Freedom to me might not be what freedom is to you, but when everyone is going through saying, I'm free to make my choices. Do unto others and harm none, yes, but also do as thou wilt. You have to be able to find that balance. It's like in the Matrix when they're in there, right? And they know that the humans that are in there are really living in pods and don't have any idea that they're connected to this Matrix. And they get shot in the Matrix, so they die in real life or die in their pods at the same time, right? You have to decide, like, is what you're doing with unconscious people bad karma? Like, that's a choice that you're making. It's a belief system that you're installing. It goes back to that radical person that you can look at. They can tell you why they're doing what they're doing because they believe it, and they're willing to die for their values. They're willing to die for what they're willing to create. They are a true warrior, because true warriors don't care if they actually see the end of battle. It's that they're willing to die for what they're fighting for. I don't think enough people in the spiritual community honestly are actually willing to die for what they're fighting for, because they don't have a clear concept of the fact that what we're fighting for doesn't actually exist yet, because it's pure liberty for every person on the planet. It's the ability to make choices that go against the grain. It's the ability to have access to clean food and drinking water, healthy food, clean drinking water, medicine, education. It's the ability to know that there's no one going hungry tonight on the entire planet. It's knowing that no one is being abused or raped or taken advantage of. Because all those things are happening right now. Even though I believe with every piece of me that there are no victims, and that every single person that's going through one of those atrocities chose it on an unconscious level for their existence in this life because of old karma, I'm fucking sick of the old karma, guys. I'm just tired of it. I want us all to have the clean slate, and to have that clean slate, you have to own your shit. You have to say, you know what? I don't care that what I did looks like I was a bad person to other people. I know I'm a good person. I know that what I'm fighting for is so beyond the current logical understanding of 99% of the people I talk to that I'm going to feel alone every single day of my life, even when I'm surrounded by support structures and people who love me and clients that are having amazing turnaround, because they too are changing lives by going against the grain, teaching people how to resource their own divinity, how to channel information straight from source, how to create the new technology necessary for our new earth to be able to do those things. We don't have the technology or the infrastructure right now to be able to just turn on a switch and one day, because of one event, one time when the planets align perfectly, everybody gets blasted into nirvana. That shit's never gonna happen. Your happily ever after isn't coming while you're waiting around for your Prince Charming. I'm sorry, but you need to get off your ass and do the work. And the work is going through line by fucking line of your entire life, not your past lives, because I don't give a fuck about those. Your current life right now. Can you own your shit? Can you make your life a great event? If you were to zoom out and you're an alien watching your life, isn't your life pretty fucking melodramatic and really exciting? Can't you be the leading lady? Can't you own that you are the hero and the villain? Can you play all the roles? Because when you can do that, that's when you're actually free. That's when you realize that the ups and the downs and the lefts and the rights, they're all for you. They're all for pleasure. They're all for learning. They're all for experience. They're all for the reason why anybody incarnated on this planet, to experience 3D duality and to transcend beyond the ideas of the Matrix, to transcend beyond the ideas of what is preconceived and societally attached to you and all of your ancestral bullshit and all of the stories that you've been told, and to write your own story, to be able to still walk around and be happy and loved and blissed out and successful and wealthy, despite all the things that you should be ashamed of. The truth is that no one is really ever going to be free, because freedom is a construct of everyone's individual mind. So you could look at someone's life and they would tell you, I'm free. I'm free to do as I want, to go as I will, to be with whoever I want to be with, to hang out, anything. But then you look at another layer deeper from your lens and you're going to be like, you're not free. You have a job that you work for another person. You have to pay taxes. You have a lover that cheats on you, whatever, right? Freedom in and of itself is a construct of the mind. You can have people living behind bars that will never tell you that they feel imprisoned, because they are reading their imagination. They're free in their mind. Their physical body is stuck behind a penitentiary, and yet they're free. And then you can have the most wilding out 20-something-year-old, one of those insta-famous chicks that's got all the money and the private jets and all the things. Looks like she's got all the freedom in the world, but she's trapped in her mind. She's trapped, always thinking about that rape that occurred. Trapped, always thinking about the friends that she did shady shit to in high school. Trapped, thinking about the abuse she dealt with her father. And even though she's insta famous, even though she's out there traveling the planet, even though she's getting up on stages and speaking, she's still trapped. She's not free at all. She's being controlled by schedules and by managers and by all of this, right? That's the whole the grass is always greener concept. So what I'd invite you all to do is to know why it's important to own authority and responsibility, is because that's what makes you free. When you can take 100% responsibility for all of your problems and 100% responsibility for all of your solutions, yeah, it gets lonely. Yeah, it feels hard. Yeah, you cry your eyes out for 45 minutes and then get on a live stream and talk about it. But it's because there is no shame or guilt behind it anymore. There's no reason to hide. There's no reason to hide who you are or what choices you've made, because in making those choices and speaking about them, you're actually giving other people permission to rise above also. You're giving them permission. You're giving them permission to be free of the guilt and the shame that they have inside their own being, because they're sitting around victimizing themselves or being the villain. They're either the super bad guy, nobody likes them, whatever. We all have stories like that, right? We all have a story that we're trapped in. Does anyone have one? Does anyone have a, I'm going to take a sip of coffee for a second, make sure that I have my thoughts straight for the next 10 minutes while we wrap up. Does anyone have one of these that they know they're actually ready to get rid of right now, that they're like, fuck it, I'm going to share. This is my shame. This is the thing that has just been weighing me down. This is what keeps me up at night, right? What is the story that keeps you up at night that just is like, God damn, if I could get rid of this one, I could be free? No comments. Anybody? Nobody. No one's brave enough. Okay. Well, when you decide that you're ready to be clear of that shame, when you're ready to actually let it go, the great event of your life will look like this. It'll look like going through the worst amount of pain you can even imagine, followed by the most amount of bliss you can ever imagine, and then learning how to hold on to that bliss despite what other people say about you, despite what the other people who are involved in the situation might say about you, or how they're oscillating. I'm talking about all this because tomorrow there's a great event. Tomorrow there's the Great Conjunction. Tomorrow's the winter solstice in 2020, and everyone in the entire planet keeps talking about it and how there's going to be this big, massive coronal injection or some shit. And I'm telling you that that's happening right now. Right in this very moment, as you're watching this live stream, no matter what time it is, no matter where you are in the world, no matter if it's 6 months from now. Right now is your opportunity to look at your ancestral lineage. Look at all of those people who would have looked up at the sky 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago, and wondered, where is the sun going? Where is the sun going? Why is it so far away? What did I do to make the sun so mad at me? But at us. And what sort of rituals were created around calling the sun back in? We have Yule, the burning of the Yule log. We have all sorts of tribal, all usually around fire, right? Building that fire, calling the sun back. How do you bring the spotlight back onto you when you feel so ashamed of all the things that you've done? How do you crawl back out when you've been the villain, when you've hurt so many people? How do you crawl back up and stand up and shine brightly when you've done the things that merit you to walk around with a letter A on your chest? A red letter A. What is it that you have to do to realize that you are choosing every moment of your life anyway, so just own it. Just own it. You did it, you made the choice, just do it. Just get it off, right? So if that means you have to write it on a piece of paper and you burn it, great. If you need to go tell a friend, great. If you have to do a Facebook Live, great. The great event of your life occurs in the moment of the most terrifying action. The thing that scares you the absolute most to admit to anyone. Because you look so weird. You look like that radical, right? To the rest of the world, that radical walking around, raw vegan, anarchist, crazy hairdo, speaks weird and draws weird things. That person that makes you uncomfortable when you're around. The reason why they make you so uncomfortable is because they know who they are so strongly that they don't give a fuck. They don't care what other people think of them. But that makes it a very lonely place to be. So most of us aren't willing to go there. And I wonder what would happen if more of us went there. If more of us were willing to be that freak. If more of us were willing to actually build our values that strongly and that deeply that it truly didn't matter what other people thought of us. Not in a I'm a badass, I don't care what people think, but truly just not caring because we're willing to able to speak the truth on our heart. We have so many past lives that we'll never be able to get through them all. You can spend your whole life trying to get through all your past lives and you never get through them all. But one thing that's agreed upon is that karma from previous lives affect your current life. But what if you could deal with your karma from your current life before you were done with this current life? What if there were no repercussions that moved on past this? What if this was your last time on this planet? Because in many ways it is. This is the last time any of us are going to incarnate during this transitionary phase. If we come back, it's going to be while the golden age is popping. So if we're here in these final stages of the patriarchal age of age of Osiris time that we've been in, and tomorrow really is the day that we switch, what is the thing that you're so ashamed of that tomorrow in New Earth, when everything just, I wake up in the morning magically, la ta da, there's fucking rainbows falling from the sky, there's money is no longer necessary, everyone has food, what, like, this is literally what people think is going to happen tomorrow, guys. I'm not lying to you. So this is a belief system that many of you might have, like, oh shit, I don't have to worry about anything because tomorrow the whole world is going to shift. So what is it? Why can't you say it? Why aren't you brave enough? Because there's this fear of being let down that happily ever after doesn't actually exist, right? Like you're mentally ill. Okay, that's a big one. You think you're going crazy. That's a huge one for me. I think I'm going crazy all the time. Um, Especially when you start talking about timelines or hearing spirits or having clients who have passed on that sit across from you while you're working and help you with ideas. Yeah, it does sound crazy. Because mentally ill is a social construct, right? It's an idea that we've been given. And especially once pharmaceuticals came into the play, we could just hush those voices that way by changing the brain chemicals instead of looking at what would happen if we allowed it to expand. A lot of people who are suffering from those schizophrenic breaks right now, it's because they don't know how to embody their psychic gifts. They just don't. It's too up. There's too many people up here teaching meta. They're teaching all this meta stuff. They astral travel with you. They send you out here. You're talking to Pleiadians. You're talking to Syrian star nascents. You're talking to all these people, but you're not able to embody it in your own life, right? So living a life that's pulling you apart because you're not actually embodying what you teach, right? Or you're not practicing what you preach. You're not all that you preach to be. So massive, terrifying action all on the line. What is the thing that I'm most ashamed of? And the thing that would terrify me for anyone to know that I'm admitting live on Facebook right now is that I had an affair and I stayed with my husband. I'm actually living the best life that I could ever dream of living because I got to keep the guy I was having with the affair with too. And I have so much support and so much love and so much structure in my life that we are creating a 9-figure, 10-figure, huge business. We're creating New Earth. We're building it. We're buying the land. We're buying the property. We're getting it done. It's happening. With the full support of my husband, with the full support of another beautiful soul who has been involved, has been around during this whole thing happening. Because I can't turn off my soul calling mission. I can't turn off finding what many would call my twin flame, someone who's meant to help me with my cosmic mission. But I also can't turn off my earthly mission of being this amazing mom and having this wonderful husband that supported me for 15 years. I don't know how to be either or. I only know how to be me, which is both and, which is what I teach you. Both and more, right? Having both and more, having everything ever, happily ever after. But there's a lot of guilt and shame around that because I know people whose lives have been ruined because of affair, because of a mental construct that you're somehow tarnished, that you're supposed to walk around with this big red letter A on your chest, that you're broken goods. And it's hilarious to me that it took me 30 minutes of this live stream to be able to say that because there was still that much shame and guilt around it becoming public knowledge because it's not going away. Tomorrow I'm not going to wake up and my life has changed that dramatically. If anything, it's going to get more and more obvious and more and more apparent that this is what happened because I'm still working so closely with my twin dragon and also insanely, blissfully, lovingly married to my husband and raising my family. Because I held the frequency all week for months that I'd be able to figure out how to do that. Through hell and back, and I don't need to bore you with the details. Maybe eventually they'll come out. But it's been me holding my frequency. What do I want? I want a world, I want a reality where I get to keep my husband, where I get to have my husband in my home life and my amazing house on the hill and my kids and live that soccer mom life. And I also get to go change the world and build new earth. I get to go be a super conscious leader. I get to have these amazing clients that are changing the planet. I get to go be an actress or a you know, best-selling author. I can go be a Grammy award winner. My possibilities are endless because I don't know how to stop dreaming big. But dreaming big means that I have to go through big things. Being the leading role of my life means I have to go through melodramas. And yeah, this is something that in in the 3D world, oh, well, don't let that out, just keep it behind closed doors. But what do I teach you? I teach you fearless authenticity. How could I keep something that huge and that life changing that has literally opened me up to an entirely new level of what I can actually see as my soul mission, as my calling to help all of you be able to transcend that shame? I couldn't if I didn't admit it. I wouldn't be practicing what I preach. I wouldn't be taking massive, terrifying action. I'd be doing what I've been doing for like a month, which is like, oh shit, don't slip up my words. Oh no, make sure I don't, right? But it's obvious. It's obvious. And it's who I am. I transcend social constructs. I break taboo rules all the time. It's who I've always been. I am one of those radicals sitting in the corner. I do have a crazy hairstyle. I am vegan. I'm not raw vegan. But, right? Like, my belief structure is so solid that it really doesn't matter to me if people figure out, oh, wait, isn't she married? Why is she? Does her husband know? Yeah, he fucking knows. Doesn't matter. They're like best friends. It's weird. Creating your own reality is weird, ladies and gentlemen. You better be ready to make your head explode all the time. Even right now while I'm telling you, I was so nervous telling you, and now I'm like, oh, and by the way, this is fucking amazing. We're over here taking over the world. We've got all these properties lined up. We have all these things happening. Literal empire in the making. And I never could have written this script. If you would have told me 6 months ago when I started first having these visions and having conversations with interstellar beings and understanding what my role was an intergalactic emissary and creating this new earth and being a super conscious leader there of it, running for president of the United States or however I was putting it back then. And you told me that the way I was going to get there was through this. I would have said no. I would have said, fuck no, I don't want to deal with that pain. I don't want to put my husband through that pain, and I don't want to deal with that drama. And that's why we help ourselves forget. It's why we don't remember until we're in it. And then when we claim it, right? I take 100% responsibility for what I did. But I also took 100% responsibility for what the solution would be. And I didn't let anyone tell me what was going to happen. My life is my life, no matter what happens with the two men in my life, what happens with my children, what happens with my clients, none of that matters. Am I good with me? Can I be under a bridge all alone, having lost everything that I've worked for, and still be throwing a party under that bridge knowing that I am solid in who I am as a fractal of God, and that I'm solid in what I am as God manifest in form, creating reality, and that I am solid in how I serve, which is by singing my own song and by knowing my own frequency. And hell yeah, I could. It would be a great fucking party. And because I'm so solid on that, because I'm willing to lose everything, because I'm willing to go all in on my divine mission, my soul mission, what my soul has incarnated for hundreds of thousands of lifetimes on this planet to do, I'm willing to go all in and risk it all to build that place where there is clean drinking water and healthy food and education and medicine for everyone on this planet. And that I truly am willing to die for that. That's how I know I'll never actually end up underneath that bridge. It's how I get to have this amazing life on the hill and be serving my soul mission simultaneously. It's how I get to have everything and live happily ever after and still enjoy the tears. To enjoy the silky, satiny, bluish black feel of overwhelm. To relish in the fiery, red hot pains of anger that have been coming at me, rightly so from society's standpoint, right? And still stand there and take it and say, I know, that is what I did. That is who I am. That is the story that I wrote for myself. I know I take authority for it. And because I am so solid in that, I get everything. I win. I get to win because I was willing to play. When you've got skin in the game, you stay in the game. You don't get nothing if you don't play in the game. So how many of you are actually playing? How many of you are willing to really go out and go all in on what your soul mission is? You can see it, you can taste it, you can touch it. You sound like a fucking crazy person if you tell anyone else about it. We're not here to play small, mediocre lives, ladies and gentlemen. We aren't here to be average. We're here to be extraordinary. You're here to play the biggest game that you can play, because next time around, we'll have already done the building. We'll have already built New Earth. You incarnated in this time and in this place at this moment to watch this live stream, to hear that, because you're ready. You're ready to jump. You're ready to dive. You're ready to go to whatever level that is. Some of you, maybe that literally just means, okay, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to watch the Pillars of Freedom for free on Caryn's website. Go on there. It's the bottom of the page. You get it for free. And I'm just going to do those 3 videos because that's all in for me. I'm going to do the journal prompts. Maybe it's going the next step up to the Accelerated Ascension Bootcamp, which is 5 videos. It's like $77. Maybe it's going all the way all in and going to the freedom frequency shift, which is $777. It's 8 videos, got a workbook, it's got all the things. Each one taking you a layer deeper and deeper into building these foundations of truth and honesty and integrity and fearless authenticity necessary to be able to be racked through the mud. The reason why I'm coming out and saying all this is because I had a photo shoot last week. There is still literally glitter in my hair from it. That the second those pictures come out, everyone was going to know what had happened anyway. So why would I wait? It's like, why does anyone ever wait for the photos to come out? Because of the shame. Oh, I hope they never come out. I hope they never come out. I paid someone thousands of dollars to do that shoot. They're going to come out. Because that's the brand. The brand that my twin dragon and I are creating, it's literally called the Twin Dragoning Company. It's literally created to help you live this amount of bliss and love and outward appeal to magnetizing whatever it is that you desire, no matter what. No one and nothing has power over me. So why would I keep hiding that and wait for the pictures to come out and then have to deal with the repercussions then? Like, no, just come out and say it, move through it, it's done. I'm really valuing the share. I love that you're both and we get to have we get to be multi-dimensional humans. Exactly. We're building a new social construct. We're celebrating the solstice using old rituals, probably a lot of us, but we're building something new. This portal that we've been in is a powerful manifesting portal, okay? This isn't one of those portals that's specifically for releasing, it's for manifesting. So why is it so important to treat your own life as the great event? Because are you manifesting your life from your unconscious mind fully? Or are you consciously involved? Are you plugged into the matrix? Or are you playing the matrix? Which one are you? Can you die every day like the sun does in ancient Egypt? Many different societies believe that the sun died every day, that he was born every morning and died every day. Can you do that? Can you be willing to have ego death after ego death after ego death after ego death? Because the only way you're going to get what you want to have, clearly, if you were meant to have it at the vibration that you're at right now, you would already have it, right? Having is evidence of wanting. What you have in your life is evidence of you wanting it. So that means that at some point over the fall, me having an affair was the what I wanted. It's what I wanted, and why I wanted it. That's where everyone saw, oh, well, why would I want this? Why would I want this? Why would I want this? Why do I want it? Because I'm taboo as fuck. I am sexual as hell. I have one person who knows me and understands me on all of my earthly levels, gets every single part of who I am because he's known me for 20 fucking years. And I have another person who actually understands my brain and understands the visions that I have and sees the new earth. And we're so intergalactically entangled that honestly, in many respects, I'm probably having an affair on my twin flame with my husband. It's fucked. It makes no sense. Except for to those of us who know what multidimensional humans are and get that this is the game that we came to play. It's laughable. It's laughable. It's laughable. 13 minutes later. You guys literally just watched an ego death. You literally just watched it. From the beginning of this video to now, watch how it shifted. This is what you do all day, every day. This is living in the freedom frequency. It's knowing, oh shit, I'm pulled back. I feel reserved. I feel nervous. I feel pain. I feel regret. I feel shame. I feel guilt. I feel all these feelings. And what do I need to do to release it? You gotta give it a voice. You gotta let it out. You just gotta get it off your chest. It's really not that bad. The repercussions really aren't that horrible. God is not going to strike you down. But ingrained in you probably is that fear. So can you become fearlessly authentic? And you don't need to post it in the comments. You could send me a DM personally if you would like to. If you're ready to work with me one-on-one and you're ready to really go all in and become that super conscious leader, I've opened some spaces up because I'm really ready. Like, I am ready to not be the only person on this planet that's willing to be the biggest, brightest, shining star. I rival Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, okay? The knowledge and infinite bliss and liberation that I promise to this whole planet as a part of my divine mission is the reason why I come and show up for you guys every day. no matter how I'm showing up, whether I'm on string or not, why I show up every week, why I bare my soul, not because I need validation and not because I need anyone to know who I am or any of that egotistical, none of that shit. It's because I practice what I preach. What is the most terrifying action I can take today? Because if I'm constantly taking terrifying actions, that means I'm constantly killing off the parts of myself that is afraid, which means that I'm constantly being reborn, which means that I am immortal, which I already know. Ego deaths can be fun. Being the villain in one moment and then being the hero in the next is what keeps the whole play exciting, right? Sometimes we play supporting roles, sometimes we're the lead character, but we're really actually always the lead character of our own lives. We're just afraid to take responsibility for it. We're afraid of what will happen if we ask for what we want by claiming responsibility for the solution too. Who am I to want that? Who am I to get to have all of that? Who am I? I'm Caryn Terrace. I'm the Dragon Empress, dragon doula helping birth dragons all over the planet who are here to change the world, to create a planet of liberation, of love, bliss, success beyond anyone's current comprehension, except for maybe me. This is what I was born to do, to liberate the minds of the humans from this idea that shame and guilt need exist because they don't. Your life is beautiful. Everything that's ever happened to you was a choice that you made to be who you are today so that you can have what it is that you want in the future. But who you are in the future that has those things is not who you are today, or you would already have those things. So, what do you need to do? What do you need to dissolve? Who do you need to be instead? What shame do you need to let go of today? How can you celebrate the great event of your life and move forward to live happily ever after? I love you. Have a beautiful solstice.